everyone, happy Friday. This week I wanted to talk about something that still kind of makes me cringe, but I think is fun to talk about and just a little silly to reminisce about. So I'm going to talk about bad auditions. We all have them, every single one of us. Sometimes we just go into the room and we crash and burn, and that's okay. It's best for that not to happen. And as you get better and as you keep going through the audition circuit, that doesn't happen as often, but especially when you're starting out, it can be pretty bad. I was thinking, I think there was this one audition where I had to sing, and I wasn't quite confident about my singing abilities, so I was very, very nervous, and I had to nervous pee. And I went in, and my song was terrible. I wasn't breathing at all, because I was literally just holding myself together. And then I ended up like running out of that audition room. That was bad. Of course I did not book that. They probably thought that I, didn't like them or something, and I would just really, really had to pee. So that was a fun one. What was another? Oh, this one still makes me cringe to this day. So I went on an audition for a really big horror movie that came out a few years ago, and I really crashed and burned that one. So I went in, and I was going in for like a murderous villain type of character, and one of the lines that I had to say, I had to reference OG. So I walked in, and I was 21, have no excuse for not knowing what OG means. And of course I looked at my reader and I just said, I just have one quick question. What does OG mean? And the casting director just like just blank. And then I was like, I should just exit stage right. And then he looked at me and goes, original gangster. And I was like, I'm a moron. I've never felt more like an idiot in my life. So then I was like, okay, I definitely should not book this. And I didn't book it. So that was probably the worst one. That was probably the one where I'm like, ugh, that was rough. That was pretty bad. And then I know there's more. I'm trying to think. There's one other. Oh, this one was bad too. So I went in an audition for a musical, and they had us sing and they had us do a monologue, and then they wanted tap dancers, and tap, that's the dance style that I know the best. That's what I grew up on. So I was like, sure, I'll absolutely, do a tap dance. And they wanted me to choreograph it for myself. So I did that, and of course, I'm trying to show off what I can do. I've had all the bells and whistles, all the tricks, all the stuff. And so I went in there, and of course I didn't anticipate that we would probably end up being like on a, really slick floor. And I've tapped in nursing homes and had to, tap on tile before. So I was like, oh, I've done that. It had been years since I've done that, but I had done that before. So I thought, oh, this should be fine. It was not a dance floor. It was very, very slick. And even though, I'm a pretty decent tap dancer, I hadn't tapped in a long time. So I did this big toe slide, which is just a slide on the top of your toes. And you could, go pretty far, get a lot of friction with it. Well, I went so far, I went right into the casting table. So that was bad too. Did not book that audition either. And I walked out of there and I was like, I need to do more crunches, because I definitely shouldn't have run into the casting director and nearly killed them. But, bad auditions happen. They're funny to reflect on now. And yeah, that's it. And my weekly recipe for this week is I call it a broke artist eggs Benedict. So it's just an English muffin, and then don't spend the money on Canadian bacon. Just get like regular ham or whatever meat you have in your fridge works. And then just poach an egg, and that's it. And you can toast the English muffin. I usually do that, but then put the ham on top and then put the poached egg on. The poached egg is probably the hardest, but that's pretty easy to do. It's just dropping a full egg into boiling water. Once it gets more solidified and white, then you can scoop it out and put it on top, and it's a great breakfast, and it doesn't cost as much as Eggs Benedict. So yeah, that's my 2 cents for the week, and happy Friday.